Okay, there we go. You did it. Hello, YouTube. Go live. What's up, chat? It's fucking Thursday. Wednesday. God. Looks like a lot of people are already here. All right. Get rid of that noise. Head. Do your chant. Well, I guess I can watch myself on YouTube. That's one viewer. They let you do that. Okay, chat. We're starting early today.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Amy Goodman will be back later this week.
Oh.
Iran announced that it's resumed negotiations with Oman over managing the Strait of Hormuz. That's despite mounting economic pressure from President Trump. It comes as the U.S. says it has completed the clearing of mines from the Strait of Hormuz. An oil tanker was struck by an unidentified projectile off the coast of Oman on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secret Service said that it was tracking a recent video broadcast by Iranian state television to assassinate Trump's youngest son, Barron. The potential plot alleges that a $10 million bounty had been offered for his killing. In Gaza, Palestinians in Khan Yunis held a vigil at Nasser Hospital for journalists killed by an Israeli strike a year ago. On August 25th, Fifth, 2025, Israel struck Nasser Hospital, killing at least 20 people, including 5 journalists
supposedly
who worked for Reuters, the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, and other news outlets. Reuters editor-in-chief Alessandra Galloni and the AP's executive editor, Julie Pace, issued a joint statement Tuesday saying, quote, "We again call on the government of Israel to explain the deaths of these journalists and take every step necessary to protect journalists covering the conflict. We'll continue to seek answers, demand accountability, and call for access to Gaza to provide support to our colleagues who've been covering the war for almost 3 years now. These were the 5 journalists killed by Israel a year ago. Reuters journalist Hussam al-Masri, who was killed while operating a live video feed at the hospital. Mariam Abu Dakha, who freelanced for the Associated Press and other outlets. Mohammed Salama, who worked for Al Jazeera. Muaz Abu Taha, a freelance journalist who worked with several news organizations. And Ahmad Abu Aziz. This is the brother of Reuters journalist Hussam al-Masri.
They were not numbers, but they were lives moving among us. Each one of them had a dream, a hope, a home, children, and a wife. They were living their lives, but the occupation targeted them for no other reason than they were a voice for the truth, and they were the very symbol of this truth.
In occupied East Jerusalem, Israeli forces stormed the Qalandiya training center, a major UNRWA facility in the Kafr Aqab neighborhood on Tuesday. Troops forced all UNRWA staff out of the facility and ordered them not to come back. The Jerusalem governorate reported that 5 Palestinians were wounded by Israeli gunfire near the Qalandiya training site. This is UN spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric.
Today's actions are the 5th instance of unauthorized entry by Israeli authorities in the center since May this year and follow other unacceptable breaches of inviolability and of interference with UNRWA premises in occupied East Jerusalem, including the seizure and demolition of the Sheikh Jarrah compound, as well as cutting off supply of water and electricity to multiple other UNRWA facilities.
Meanwhile, in the occupied West Bank, far-right Israeli lawmaker Tzvi Sukkot entered the Palestinian village of Madama on Tuesday, escorted by soldiers, and destroyed a limestone monument with a sledgehammer. Video verified by the New York Times shows at least 2 soldiers standing by without intervening. The U.S. has delisted Syria as a state sponsor of terrorism, eliminating what Damascus calls the last major obstacle to international investment. Syria had been on the list since 1979 after Washington accused Hafez al-Assad's government of backing militant groups. The designation stayed in place under his son Bashar al-Assad, who was ousted in December 2024 by rebels led by Ahmad al-Sharaa, who is now Syria's president.
CIA puppet.
Cuba, Iran, and North Korea remain on the U.S. list of state sponsors of terrorism.
It's a soft coup.
U.S. media reported that CIA Director John Ratcliffe made an unannounced trip to Moscow after flight records showed an American military plane landing in the Russian capital. A U.S. diplomatic motorcade was also spotted. The CIA Director's reported trip follows a breakdown in U.S. brokered talks on ending the Ukraine war, though Russia did free a former U.S. Marine this month after nearly 4 years in detention. Canada responded to President Trump's tariffs by doubling its tariffs on American steel and aluminum from 25% to 50% on Tuesday. Canada will also impose tariffs ranging from 15% to 50% on about 700 other products. The U.S. had imposed a 50% tariff on $20 billion worth of Canadian imports. This comes as President Trump said on social media he is, quote, giving serious consideration to renaming Lake Ontario Lake America.
What the fuck, dude?
Here in New York City, an interfaith coalition on Tuesday denounced the upcoming visit of a prominent Hindu nationalist leader from India at Madison Square Garden this Saturday. Mohan Bhagwat is the head of the RSS, a far-right paramilitary organization closely linked to India's ruling BJP party. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a member of the group, and Bhagwat's rally in New York marks the beginning of a global speaking tour for the 100th anniversary of the RSS. Earlier this year, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom recommended the U.S. impose sanctions against the RSS for their responsibility for and tolerance of.
Indian government is so crazy. Like, they have the craziest parties. They're right up there with us.
Attacks on religious minorities, including Muslims and Christians.
Shit countries.
This is Brad Lander, the Democratic Party's nominee for New York City's 10th congressional district.
Shithole countries.
This event harkens back to that 1939 Nazi rally that was hosted at Madison Square Garden with banners of swastikas and tens of thousands of people cheering ethnic and religious hatred and violence of a very similar sort
Okay,
to
Brad.
what Mohad Bhagwan and the RSS are proposing. And MSG said it wouldn't do that again, that it wouldn't host any more hate-filled, bigoted rallies. It should not host this one.
ICE detained nearly 50,000 people in July, a record monthly high since President Trump returned to
50,000.
office. ICE has increasingly
Quietly.
relied on collaboration from state and local law enforcement to arrest more immigrants at traffic stops, a partnership that's become key to Trump's mass deportation
Yeah,
campaign.
the fucking highway
In
patrol
related
dude.
news, New York's legislation prohibiting state and local law enforcement agencies from cooperating with ICE went into effect yesterday. Under the Local Cops Local Crimes Act, the
Fuck the
agreements
police.
must be terminated, setting up a potential legal battle with New York counties that have not yet committed to complying with the statute. This is New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
ICE's dangerous and aggressive tactics to pursue civil immigration. Again, I'm very clear here. For civil immigration enforcement. This only continues to evoke fear on our streets. And our local cops will not be part of it. Because we hold our police to a higher standard. They hold themselves to a higher standard.
Six immigrants who were deported from the U.S. to Liberia last week reportedly resisted getting off the plane and were instead flown to Equatorial Guinea. The Trump administration has secretly expanded these so-called third country agreements, deporting thousands of immigrants to dozens of countries they have no ties to. The immigrants who refused to get off the plane in Liberia were 4 men from Cuba, 1 from Brazil, as well as a woman from Cameroon, according to NBC News. The group was told they'd be returning to the U.S., but instead were taken to Malabo City in Equatorial Guinea. In Texas, a federal judge on Tuesday ordered the release of a second key witness in the fatal shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, the 52-year-old Mexican father who was killed by an ICE agent in Houston on July 7th. Daniel Tirado Pantoja was one of 3 passengers in Araujo's van the morning of the shooting, along with Araujo's younger brother, Victor Salgado, who is still in ICE detention nearly 2 months later. Pantoja must be released within 48 hours. This comes as the ICE agents involved in Araujo's killing have still not been identified. To see our coverage of this case, go to our website. Colombia's new right-wing president, Abelardo de la Espriella, has vowed to deport thousands of immigrants, mainly Venezuelans, from the country.
Especially if China gets some good RAM.
According to the UN, around 2.8 million Venezuelans are currently living in Colombia. This is de la Espriella speaking Tuesday.
I heard it's a couple months away.
The order to migration is clear start operations in coordination with the police in Barranquilla to find illegal immigrants. First,
can't have
those
this
committing
Chinese
crimes.
RAM.
Second, those
it's
with
got
their
bugs.
situation not regularized, who in the end will have to be deported.
A federal judge has temporarily blocked the state of Ohio from requiring residents to present proof of citizenship.
Yeah, I'm looking at my 32 gigabytes right now. It's not the fastest RAM in the world, but I know if I was to replace it right now, it would cost me $1,000.
Documentation when registering to vote at motor vehicle offices. The decision is the latest legal setback against efforts by Trump allies to tighten voting restrictions in key states ahead of the midterms in November. This comes as a federal judge in Massachusetts found the Trump administration violated a court injunction by finalizing new regulations with the U.S. Postal Service that would overhaul voting by mail nationwide if they're enforced. Tuesday's ruling prevents the measures from taking effect for now and comes in response to a motion by the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts. This follows a separate ruling by the Supreme Court on Monday, allowing President Trump to implement his executive order restricting mail-in ballots. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York lashed out at critics of his meeting with Trump envoy and son-in-law Jared Kushner, writing on X, quote, "No one from the Trump cartel is getting a pass." The New York Times reports the meeting was arranged by a mutual friend of Jeffries and Kushner and aimed at finding areas of, quote, common ground if Democrats regain control of one or both chambers of Congress in November's midterm elections. News of the meeting prompted fresh calls for Hakeem Jeffries to step down from his leadership role as the top House Democrat. Tommy Vitor, a former aide to President Barack Obama, wrote, quote, Jared
Fuck
Kushner
you.
has no actual
Tommy
government
Vitor
job.
is not a good
He just
person
uses his
either.
family connections to get money from Gulf autocrats and fund corrupt deals. The only way Representative Jeffries should work with him is with demands for documents and subpoenas, end quote. In South Carolina, Darlene Graham, the sister of the late Republican Lindsey Graham, won the state's Republican Senate primary runoff Tuesday.
Not me. I'm constantly using 24 gigabytes no matter what. Yeah. So I can replace my RAM for $249. It's not bad, actually. But the fucking RAM I have right now won't even run at 3600. It only runs at 3200. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have 4 sticks. Maybe I need to buy 4 sticks of 16. That would be an upgrade. I buy 4 sticks of 16 for $500. Then I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. And then I slap a 5950 in there.
President Trump had thrown his support behind her candidacy. Graham won the 52% of the vote. Her challenger, Congressmember Ralph Norman, secured 48%. Darlene Graham has never held public office.
Mine's G-Skills 3600. So it's like slow as fuck. They got 5200 now.
A federal judge on Tuesday rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's bid to overturn her sex trafficking conviction and 20-year prison sentence, calling her claims, quote, demonstrably meritless. Maxwell was the former girlfriend and accomplice to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The judge said that Maxwell, acting as the woman in charge of Epstein's various residences, enforced an atmosphere in which employees knew not to speak. He said the tactics she and Epstein relied on were the same ones child predators typically use, and that Maxwell took part in the abuse herself.
Of course she did. She was what?
In Pennsylvania, 2 unvaccinated people have died from measles. They're the first measles deaths in the U.S. this year. More measles cases have been reported in 2026 than in any year since the virus was declared eliminated.
3,000? Yeah, and you're using, what's your motherboard? Is it an AMD?
In 2000.
It's an Intel.
This is Pennsylvania's
that's about the same as mine.
So far this year, there have been 393 confirmed cases of measles in Pennsylvania. That is the highest number of measles cases since 1992. Nearly 20% of those cases have resulted in someone being hospitalized.
CNN is reporting that members of a specialized team that responds to natural disasters and other emergencies in national parks have been sent to Washington, D.C. to work on President Trump's pet project, ranging from the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool to fountain renovation.
Mine's a Zaku, too, from Asus. It's like a... Got a good price on it.
And removing debris at the East Potomac Golf Course. The officials are also compiling highly detailed status reports for Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. A longtime Park Service employee who spoke anonymously to CNN said, quote, political folks have wanted to know even the tiniest details, and it's always about schedule. Will it be on time? The focus on Trump's beautification projects comes as the western U.S. confronts the most wildfires in a decade and a water crisis that has gripped several states. And legendary singer, songwriter, and country superstar Dolly Parton died Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee, surrounded by loved ones. She was 80 and had reportedly been battling cancer. News of Dolly Parton's death sparked tributes around the world, honoring a musical legacy that spanned decades. Dolly Parton won multiple Grammys and numerous other awards. Dolly Parton also starred in the 1980 film 9 to 5 with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. During a reunion with her co-stars in 2006, Dolly Parton did an impromptu version of her hit song from the film. Dolly Parton is also remembered as a champion of the working class, an advocate for children's literacy, education,
she gave all her money away.
LGBTQ+ and women's rights, healthcare, and for her commitment to philanthropy. Dolly Parton created the Imagination Library, inspired by her father's inability to read and write. The library has gifted more than 300 million books to children over the last 3 decades. She grew up in extreme poverty in the Great Smoky Mountains of rural Tennessee, and became one of the most influential artists in American history. This is Dolly Parton in her own words speaking when she was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2001.
I do know that I'm so honored and so proud to be here, and I've been writing songs all of my life, and this beats the heck out of standing up on the hill above the barn, singing to the cows and the chickens and the pigs, practicing all the new songs.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.
Yep. Humble beginnings. That is what the American dream used to be.
Earlier this week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent declared a new economic war against Iran.
Really? You're going to do this to me now?
Earlier this week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent declared a new economic war against Iran in what the White House described as Economic D-Day. While Bessent's focus this week has been on Iran and the bond market, earlier this month he publicly attacked our next guest, former Labour Secretary Robert Reich. The spat was over the rising price of Big Macs at McDonald's and the state of the economy. It all began when Robert Reich posted this video online.
The Big Mac has a big problem. According to the CEO of McDonald's, fast food chain saw a double-digit dip in visits from lower and middle-income customers in the first quarter of 2025.
Because they're more expensive.
The reason? Customers can't afford it. While the stock market is riding high and the Trump administration is slashing taxes for corporations and the rich, nothing is trickling down to everyday Americans.
What we see is it's really kind of a two-tier economy. If you're upper income, earning over $100,000, things are good. What we see with middle and lower income consumers is actually a different story.
He's not wrong.
That last voice was the CEO of McDonald's, Chris Kempinski. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent took issue with Robert Reich's video and posted a message online that read in part, quote, "McDonald's problem is called Burger King, Professor." Bessent went on to suggest the University of California, Berkeley should fire Reich. Bessent's comment came shortly after he appeared on CNBC and said the economy is shifting.
Fire Robert?
We are starting to see...
Fire you, sir.
I got sick of hearing about this K-shaped economy. I can say here definitively the K-shaped economy is over.
Robert Reich joins us now. He's Professor Emeritus of Public Policy at Berkeley University. He served as Labor Secretary in the Clinton administration from 1993 to 1997. His latest book is just out in paperback titled Coming Up Short, a memoir of my America. His recent article for The Guardian is headlined, "We're finally witnessing the decline of corporate Democrats." Professor Reich, welcome back to Democracy Now! There are a number of things we want to talk about with you, but let's discuss first this altercation with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
Well, he has the, it's not really an altercation. I'm a retired professor. I was Secretary of Labor 30 years ago. He is the Secretary of the Treasury. He has the power. If he's not willing to acknowledge that we have a K-shaped economy, which is a simple way of saying the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, wealth is going to the top, almost no wealth is going downward. If he doesn't say that and see that and understand that, well, frankly, that worries me.
And Robert Reich, were you initially taken aback by Bessent responding to your video?
Best Ram.
Well, I was taken aback by his nastiness. There's something in this administration. It's almost a kind of testosterone poisoning in which everybody has to be really nasty, put down everybody else. I think they may be emulating the president, their boss. They maybe want to just look and act tough. So for Bessent to say Berkeley ought to fire me because I said we still have a K-shaped economy is silly. It's the kind of adolescent boy,
it's all the same.
Locker room stuff that a Secretary of the Treasury, presumably, you would expect a little bit more intelligence, a little bit more.
Ramley just comes down to a couple of grades and then what kind of accoutrements you want on top.
Dignity, a little bit more reality.
And Professor Reich, let's talk about this K-shaped economy, the inequality that you've pointed to in your recent Substack piece. You write, for example, and only one figure that I'm quoting is, quote, the richest 1% holds more than half of the value of stocks listed in American stock exchanges. The richest 10% own 92%. So if you could talk about the significance of this, the value of stocks as opposed to the more common measurements of wealth or income distribution, and how these plain numbers can be disputed.
Starts with a C,
I think this is very, very important because a lot of the administration, particularly the president, thinks the stock market is the major indicator of the success of the economy, and it's not. For years, we've known that there is a big gap between...
Actually, I'd probably invest in Chinese RAM, if there's any companies you could find.
The Wall Street and Main Street. And that gap is getting larger and larger and larger. Because, you've got the richest 1% of Americans owning almost half all of the shares of stock available in the United States, and you've got the richest 10% owning 92% of all the shares of stock. So if the stock market goes up, well, that's nice, I guess, for the people who own shares of stock, but it doesn't do anything for most Americans. And
which means you have to have money to make money,
and their
at least a little bit of stash.
Their pensions.
You have to have gotten lucky or had a good job.
To the stock market, it's only a very tiny portion of the stock market for most Americans. Most Americans...
and the idea that someone that works their ass off every day and still can't afford to invest in stocks is dumb. It's not true.
Rely on their wages. They don't rely on capital gains. Most Americans are finding that their wages are stagnant. In fact, the most recent data we have show that...
So imagine your wage being stagnant for 10 years. Your wages being stagnant for 10 years. Yet inflation continues to rise. And then exponentially in the last 3 years. Gas prices go up. Meanwhile, you're getting paid the same. Actually, you're getting paid less because guess what? Your paycheck now has less in it. Because insurance went up 15, 20%. So even if you have Obamacare, you're still paying insurance premiums, right? Your paycheck.
Inflation.
Of course, this is if you're making a certain amount of money.
As price increases are rising.
Just enough money to bill a rent.
Faster than wages, which means that most Americans are getting poorer. When prices are going up faster than your paychecks, obviously, by just mathematically, you're getting poorer. And this is something that this administration, Scott Bessent and others, just don't
understand.
Either want to admit or don't want to see.
But they don't see it. It doesn't affect them. Some of these motherfuckers have never known what it's like to count your food money.
This is really a huge deal because I think the way you look at the economy
with a full-time job,
a lot about what you find in an economy, and if you're only looking at the stock market and if you're only looking at the indicators that have nothing to do with average working people, you're going to miss out on the big question, which is how are average working people doing? And the answer to that big question is they're doing lousy.
And so could you elaborate on what the cost of living crisis, you've written about this extensively, of course, the cost of living crisis here in the U.S., and you've pointed out some of the causes more proximate, the Trump's tariffs, as well as the ongoing war in Iran.
Well, the tariffs are obviously pushing up the costs of huge numbers of things. I mean, if we want a lot of new housing in the United States, for example, if you put a tariff on Canadian wood and Canadian wood products and lumber, you can see that the cost of housing is going to be up even higher. If you are running gigantic $40 trillion deficits and you are having a war at the same time in the Middle East that is taking billions of dollars a day, you can see that it's going to affect even mortgage rates that people have to pay. And it's going to affect auto loans. There's a negative trickle down effect from a lot of these policies that are affecting average working people. And this is what's the heart of this election. I mean, why are
this is what he said he was going to do?
Winning, who are progressive Democrats who call themselves socialists, why are they winning? Because they are focusing in on these very practical questions of affordability and how, at the kitchen table, how people simply are getting by. And Democrats, I'm happy to say, Democrats are doing that and are not paying attention to the corporate Democrats that Democrats used to pay attention to.
So that is your piece in The Guardian. We're finally witnessing the decline of corporate Democrats. So you say in the piece also that you witnessed the rise of the corporate Democrats starting in the 1980s. And then you also have some advice to progressive Democrats in the upcoming midterms. Let's talk about that.
Well, what I saw in the early 80s was the Democratic Party deciding that they would drink from the same trough in terms of funding their elections as the Republicans, because the Democrats thought Tony Coelho is the congressman who was head of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee at the time. He thought that since Democrats had been in charge of the House of Representatives since 1955, he would be in charge forever. Democrats would be in charge forever, and therefore, why not make this pact with the Republicans and basically drink the corporate funds, drink from the same trough of corporate funding? Well, it was a pact, unfortunately, an unholy alliance, because it meant that between the 80s and the 90s and the first decades of this century, the Democratic Party was much more dependent on corporate money than ever before.
Right.
And in nature and in politics, the same rule holds. You don't bite the hands that feed you. And if you're dependent on corporate money, you are not going to be as bold in saying we need Medicare for all, or we need single payer, we need child care support, we need to take on these corporations in terms of no more monopolies. We've got to have really rough and tough antitrust
most of those people
enforcement.
That used to live in Berkeley that were leftist are up north now.
These are the ways you bring costs down for average working people. And corporate Democrats didn't want to do it. I think the Democrats now, because they are basically saying no to the corporate Democrats. More and more progressive Democrats are gaining ground. That's why we are seeing the changes we are seeing. And one final point, by far the largest and most powerful force in politics today is...
Actually, Oakland's pretty lit right now, as far as like having a political compass, in my opinion.
Anger at elites that are disregarding what average people need and want. And that takes the form of progressivism and populism. It takes the form in the Democratic Party of this great tide of mostly young progressives who are...
And specifically because they've seen the worst for so long.
Where the energy is in the Democratic Party.
And finally, we just have 30 seconds, Professor Reich. You've pointed out that the U.S.
The best ideas always come from the most suffering. Because you have a desire to make it better.
Now owes $40 trillion in debt. You write, everyone has an opinion about why, but there's one question you almost never hear asked. Who is actually getting paid?
I mean, I'm not saying Oakland's safe. I'm just saying that, like, there's people that have the right ideas there. You know? Like you're talking about.
Who is getting paid?
Good leftist ideas.
Well, it's going to the very wealthy.
Line up with me.
You know, the irony here is that 40 years ago, 50 years ago, the very wealthy in this country supported the federal government through their tax payments. Even under General Dwight Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, the top marginal income tax that were paid by the richest Americans was 91%. Well, after the Reagan tax cuts and the Bush tax cuts and the Trump tax cuts, what you find is that, no, the wealthy are not supporting the federal government with their taxes any longer. They're supporting the federal government by lending the government money. And we, the rest of the country, are paying interest rates to the wealthy.
Sorry, Professor Reich, we're going to have to leave it there. Professor Emeritus of Public Policy at the University of California, Berkeley.
Professor talk a lot.
So Joe Rogan appeared to have an enlightenment.
Has that happened before for you? Just asking. You don't got to tell me, but like, because you could. Oh yeah, I've been wanting to go for years. I haven't. Sorry to hear that. But like, yeah, no, I've wanted to go to Burning Man for years too, but I mean, I don't give a fuck about the corporate shit, whatever. I'm going to have my own, I'll do my own thing, whatever, but it is expensive as fuck.
Moment on his show the other day where he temporarily woke up and realized that MAGA played him like a fiddle and used him for their ends.
Joe.
Okay, so he's going to talk here to Chris Williamson, and they're going to talk about Hunter Biden. And what he ends up saying
I was counting on you.
At multiple parts is actually quite interesting. Let's listen.
Is the laptop real, or is it really they hacked into his cloud and then they put it on a laptop? Because I've heard him say that there's way too much data for it to have ever been on a laptop.
It's 20 years. Yeah, it was 2 decades. It was everything. Every text message, every photo, every
20 gigs?
Is this the first time Joe Rogan has ever actually questioned the right-wing narrative?
Hold on.
To have ever been on a laptop?
It's 20 years. Yeah, it was
20 years. It's fucking Chris Williamson, mate. That's right. No wonder I couldn't understand what he's saying. Oh, bro, are you kidding me? You can pimp yourself out now if you have money.
2 decades. It was everything. Every text message, every photo, every.
Right.
Is this?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily interested in going to Burning Man without a RV.
The first time Joe Rogan has ever actually questioned the right-wing narrative and some total fucking horse shit that they pumped into the body politic. I think it might be. I
don't want to say anything incorrect here, so let's just make sure that I'm correct, or let's just find out what the truth is. Is his position that they hacked into his cloud, and that's how they got all those videos of him like smoking crack and going 170 miles an hour and getting foot jobs and all that stuff? Of course. Like that all was in the cloud. That wasn't on a laptop.
That makes so much more sense. The Hunter Biden laptop. We all know about it. That's right, folks.
That he just handed to a repair store.
He didn't give us the specifics on that one. What I do think would have happened is maybe you get into the cloud through the laptop. If you've got access to that, if you open up the laptop because you need to have the logins.
Okay, in August 2026 interview with Tucker Carlson, Biden reportedly said, "Hey, reportedly,
you don't need the laptop."
Perplexity, come on. You're supposed to tell. Didn't you listen?
Everything.
Didn't you watch Perplexity? He denied the full collection described as his laptop could all have originated from one device, saying it was way too large. He suggested an unknown actor, potentially an intelligence service or another person, could have taken digital material and combined it with the purported laptop narrative.
What the fuck?
So that's possible. He did acknowledge that material associated with reflected his addiction struggles. See, there could be a lot of things going on. One could be that he was cracked out and he left the laptop. He doesn't remember being cracked out and leaving the laptop. But the idea that there's too much data that it wouldn't have fit on a laptop.
For that. Fuck.
The problem with that is there's 2 terabyte hard drives on laptops now.
This is the pattern we keep seeing with Rogan. He doesn't put in any effort.
Bro.
He thinks everything needs to come to him. That's why he doesn't read the books that his guests have written. He just gets them on and asks them to explain it. He'll cover it when he actually gets them on the show. And that's clearly his attitude with Hunter Biden too. He doesn't need to watch the existing interviews because he'll just ask him all the same questions himself when he eventually books him on. Except he's arguing about a hard drive capacity when that wasn't even Hunter's point. And he's saying allegedly about Hunter's sobriety when Chris Williamson already had Hunter explain that he gets...
He's like, now we have 2 terabyte hard drives. It's like, okay, but we didn't then.
It's drug tested 2 to 3 times a week by federal probation, completely unannounced at like 6 a.m. Chris already had that conversation with Hunter Biden, and Rogan sitting there saying allegedly like he's dropping some kind of bombshell. Yeah, JRE in 2026 is wild.
The guy who ran the shop that the laptop was supposedly dropped off at.
Because he's legally blind.
Could not confirm who the customer was because he's legally blind.
Oh, how convenient. They made up a fake story. Maybe they even stole a laptop of his.
Well, the thing that I was most fascinated by was he was 2 years sober when that happened. Now
Allegedly.
7. Allegedly. Although he's tested, I think, supposedly.
By who? His
dad? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you look great, son.
He told
Clean
me
it up. And when you think about that whole story, how that blew up right before the election, it could have really been an intelligence plot to try to sink Joe Biden.
I'm so fucking done, bro. Oh, now it occurs to you. After Trump's in there and he's ushering in fascism and he's starting illegal wars and he's looting the treasury for the Epstein class pedophile perverts.
The cat ran off for real.
Bro, was this like a psyop? Did they was this a psyop? Was this like an inside job? Did intelligence agencies try to sink Joe Biden by, pumping this out there, bro? Is that what happened, bro? Yeah, all we needed was you to hop on the Trump bandwagon, endorse him, help him win, watch him destroy the country, for you to then come out and go, bro, turns out, I don't know, man, maybe there was some untoward shit going on here, bro. Maybe. Seems kind of fucked up. I mean, looks like they were trying to take down Joe Biden, bro. Oh, my God, bro.
They should be stoked.
And when you think about that whole story, how that blew up right before the election, it could have really been an intelligence plot to try to sink Joe Biden.
Weird they don't reply.
Giuliani apparently held the information for months and released it less than 3 weeks before the election. Giuliani has long been involved in efforts by the president and his allies to highlight Hunter Biden's work overseas to damage Joe Biden and boost Mr. Trump's re-election campaign. And in 2019,
that's right, they're eating the cats and dogs. That's right, down in Southern California, Northern Cal, they're eating the cats and dogs.
2019 met with a Ukrainian lawmaker who had been deemed an active Russian agent by the U.S. government.
And one of the guys who made the corruption allegation against Hunter Biden is now in prison because he was lying and defamed Hunter. Now, by the way, allow me to say up front myself, I fell for some of this shit too, because it's not hard to imagine,
Kyle.
Nepotism in our government. Obviously, the Trump family is the quintessential example of that. They're as nepotistic as humanly possible, right? So I fell for it.
I see
a lot of
saying.
people fell for it, right? But now, isn't it so convenient
but I
that
never
now
cared.
all of a sudden, wait a second here. Let me connect the dots.
Care.
Rudy Giuliani sat on that information for an extended period of time. Then they released it.
This is the
they
thing.
maybe got
with that Hunter Biden thing, I was always like, I was like, it's his son. It's the president's son. Who fucking cares? He's the fail son. What? That makes me like Biden more. I'm sorry. I have empathy.
From a Russian agent. Like, the whole point was to undermine the Democrats going into the election. Now he's easy. Oh, my days. I can't, bro. I can't.
I want to make sure you're serious about that.
This is the same dude that will look you in the face.
That's too much money.
And he'll say, Elon Musk is a genius. And Elon Musk is a hero. He saved this country. He saved the internet, bro. He'll say goofy ass shit like that. But what now? Do we have to wait another year, 2 years, 5 years, 8 years for Joe Rogan to come out and realize, hold on, did you guys know that Elon Musk actually cut pediatric cancer research and Meals on Wheels? Did you guys know he cut the National Weather Service and then people died because there were inaccurate forecasts? Did you guys know that he destroyed the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was supposed to protect people from predatory companies? Did you guys know he fired all the nuclear safety officials? Did you guys know they destroyed FEMA? They destroyed the Department of Education? They fired 83,000 veterans? They shut 50% of the Social Security offices? They fired 250,000 public workers. Were you guys aware of this?
I forgot.
Did you guys know they got rid of the food safety inspectors and now our food is fucking destroyed? Did you guys know they got rid of the air traffic controllers and a bunch of planes crashed?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that Elon Musk destroyed scientific research grants in this country and medical research grants, and they destroyed USAID, and now people are dying because they can't get their malaria medication and their HIV medication and stuff? Did you guys know this? Yes, Joe. Yes, we did. And you didn't. And that's the problem, is that the motherfucker's always like significantly behind the times. It's embarrassing.
Did you guys know?
It's fucking embarrassing. I can't, man. And by the way, as they describe in this podcast cringe piece, apparently the only reason they're even talking about this is because Joe Rogan is sort of like pissed off, low-key pissed off about the fact that now Hunter Biden is doing
Do you want to know more?
The whole podcast circuit and going to
that's a good line.
Everybody not named Joe Rogan, including a bunch of Joe Rogan's friends. And Joe Rogan is clearly like butthurt over that. Like, hold on, I'm supposed to be the number one podcast guy. I'm supposed to have the most interesting guests. I'm the one that's supposed to get people to open up. And so he like feels himself slipping in relevance. And so now like that.
I just watched I think it's called Wizards. It's on Amazon. It's like an old Bakshi animation from 1973.
That's the whole reason they're talking about Hunter Biden, is because Chris Williamson talked to Hunter Biden on his podcast. And Rogan's like, well, what the hell, man? Like, that was supposed to be me, bro. Like, I'm not kidding. There's a whole part of this that's that, basically. So I just can't. Like, helped usher in the fucking apocalypse. And now he's like, oh, bro, turns out there's like another way to look at this, bro. Did you guys know that?
Bro. Information for months and released it less than 3 weeks before the election. Giuliani has long been involved in efforts by the president and his allies to highlight Hunter Biden's work overseas to damage Joe Biden and boost Mr. Trump's re-election campaign. And in 2019 met with a Ukrainian lawmaker who had
chat like the original Starship Troopers. It was the irony was so fun. We like cats here, yes.
Been deemed an active Russian agent by the U.S. government.
This is where it really...
Like, what the fuck? I just called you out of the woods. Lol.
Really starts to get delusional because Rogan's treating the blind repairman thing as if it's some kind of gotcha moment, but both Hunter and Tucker Carlson have already independently said the exact same thing. The guy couldn't identify who dropped off the laptop, there was no security footage, and Hunter says he has zero recollection of ever going to that shop. Tucker Carlson himself said the material was being shopped around by people connected to Israeli intelligence before the repair shop story even started.
Now, by the way, that's the big one right there, right? Joe Biden cucked himself to Israel pretty thoroughly. There's only one person on this planet who cucked himself more to Israel. His name is Donald J. Trump. Okay? So they looked at Biden and they said, look, we know you gave us virtually everything we wanted throughout the course of this genocide, but there was a temporary period where you stopped sending us the 2,000-pound bombs that we used to blow up kids. And so Trump will continue to give us that. So we're just going to do an operation against you to try to get Donald J. Trump to win. And so Mr. Rogan, who pretends to be skeptical of Israel, ended up
your base
hopping on board the bandwagon
us.
of the guy who's Israel's biggest cuck and is likely blackmailed by Mossad with Epstein dirt. That's right, Netanyahu and Mossad probably know about Katie Johnson.
The only good bug is a dead
and all that stuff of all these underage girls that he did horrible stuff to, and now nobody can ever say no to Israel. Thank you, Joe Rogan. Thank you, Donald Trump. So it's just amazing to watch these people now in real time, after everything's already been destroyed, go, hey, did you guys know about this thing, bro? Yeah, we knew about almost all of it, which is why we were warning you. You can't support Trump.
Exactly.
What the fuck?
We tried to tell you, Joe.
So anyway, I think Joe probably will end up having Hunter Biden on. And Hunter is...
What the hell, bro?
I mean, he'll sway Joe completely. But the other problem is, as you all know, Rogan is he's part of the Epstein class now. Call it what it is. He just is.
I mean, he is.
Like, he's buddy-buddy with Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and a bunch of people that are in the Epstein files, or like Elon begged to go to Epstein Island, but he was so weird that even Epstein was like, I don't know about this guy.
That's a nice tie, isn't it?
Like, what does he do?
Actually,
Rogan
I
sucks
agree.
off billionaires and sucks
fits.
off MAGA figures. That's what he does. And so he would ruffle too many feathers with Dana White, who's his UFC boss, with Trump Jr., with Elon Musk, all these people he talks
More
to.
Like suck
if he has
Dana
on
White's
Hunter Biden and,
Jesus.
gives him a Joe Rogan type interview,
I'm sorry,
which is
that group of guys, MMA fighters, etc. I mean, you got to be a little homoerotic. I mean, I watch it. It's all I'm all good, but like to be involved, come on. It's all good. I'm for it. But it's just like
hot stone massage, right?
The thing
is, if Hunter were to be brought on Rogan, he actually would probably ask difficult questions because he's part of the MAGA cult, right? Whereas when he had Trump on, he did nothing but tickle his taint. So we'll see. But
dye your face when
clearly he's salty
have a thin
about
beard.
it, and he had this
Doesn't really have a
light
full
bulb
beard.
moment here. But hold on, were
He's
we
more like
played
me.
like a fiddle? Yeah, yes, you were, and you still are to this day. I mean, just the other week.
It's one of the reasons I don't grow a full beard, because I don't really have anything right here.
Not that long ago,
I used to have
Joe
good
Rogan was in the
sideburns.
fucking White House, in the Oval Office, with the fat pedophile terrorist war criminal
Yeah,
during
same.
his Iran war,
Why can't they just live their truth and be full gay?
singing his praises,
It's
going,
fine.
bro, he's gonna allow us to have Ibogaine, which is gonna like cure all these addictions and stuff, bro. And like, you fucking idiot. Are you kidding me? That's how easy it is for them to pull one over on you and use you for their nefarious fascist agenda, is like jingle some fucking keys in front of your face. You, oh God, I gotta
Yeah, now he's going to be like,
support him.
I didn't realize it this whole time. I didn't realize how powerful I was.
It's like, Ibogaine and stuff, bro. Like, oh my days. Even Cameron Haynes, who's a Joe Rogan guest, realized the trick that the Trump people play,
Yeah.
which is use you for your popularity,
I didn't
and then
used to have a
fucking
mustache.
throw your cause in the fucking dumpster the second it's convenient. Trump pretend, I'm going to protect public lands. You have this guy, Cameron Haynes, who's an advocate for public lands, come to the White House. And Cameron Haynes was, at a certain point, he was like, I'm not going to this place anymore. And then Trump
10
just
megabyte
starts to destroy
PDF
all the
is
public
insane.
lands. Like, this is what he does. He uses you. He's using you, you fucking jackweasel. Wake up. Anyway, that's the show, y'all. Love y'all very much, man. You guys know the drill.
Yeah, he would-
Everybody do me a big favor. Subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. You can also support
Honestly,
the show on Patreon.
I
link
say he
below.
shaves the
Thank you
beard
for everybody who does.
and
This
gets
is
rid of
real
the-
independent media, y'all.
Personally, my take would be shave the beard, get rid of this, and just stash it. But that's me.
You guys keep this show going from the ground up. I've
That's
never
what I'm
talked to an
doing.
advertiser, never done an ad read, never will. Thank you for supporting the show from the ground up. Also, sign up for Chris.
Yeah, he's gay 'cause he says he loves you.
We have the Vanguard coming on
No,
this week. Can't wait
he's
for
married
that.
to Crystal.
And
he's in a hetero relationship. He's very hetero. He's just very masculine. He's very comfortable in his masculinity. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, everybody also go sub to Corin's World, and I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, y'all.
Hey, y'all, do me a
his
favor
wife.
and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now.
I just respect him because he used to just be a full lib, and then he chose not to go, suck that Israeli dick, basically. So, he could have. And he's been on Joe Rogan's show. I could rock the sideburns. I already have long hair right here. But I used to have a pretty good one here. Not as good as I wanted, though. I wanted to look like Wolverine, but it didn't work. Too many weasel words.
This is the worst polling I've seen for Trump yet. It's about reading between the lines here.
He is a fast
This
talker.
matches his overall approval rating being around 35, 37, 33%, whatever. That's what almost every national credible poll is saying. And yes, that matches his all-time low or is close to it, which was after January 6th. But that's not even telling the whole story. Because when you look at
What's the whole story?
strong agreement, strong approval, strong disapproval, that's where the sausage gets made in political polling. And this very nerdy thing that I just said. But anyway,
Go back to Civil
Aaron
War.
Blake of CNN points this out from the new Reuters Ipsos poll. He says a new Reuters Ipsos poll shows just 13% of Americans strongly approve of Trump. That's the lowest I've...
Leftist graphics. Always zoomed in way too far for the old boomers. They don't know anything about DPI. Nothing is known about the DPI. What's DPI? No one on the show knows. You cannot take a 240p video and put it on a 1080p stream
seen in the quality poll, and yes, Reuters Ipsos is one of the good ones, just 35% of Republicans too. That is the cult fracturing in ways that we said would never happen. Now, that 35% that's still sticking around of Republicans that still strongly support him,
the ones that strongly support him are insane at this point. What?
They're going to vote. Republicans vote. His boomer/Gen X constituency of white people is going to show out for him. He has a floor. He always has.
I don't feel like there's that many young people that are left
than it has been in a while. Just 13% of Americans strongly approve.
Yeah,
that's the worst polling I've seen for any president ever.
I think,
has it ever been 13%?
Like 10 years ago when Trump first won, Sam's talking about this guy, I think Bob Altemeyer's name, writes about authoritarianism, and had this sort of like notion that a third could be possible authoritarian.
So
and I always like basically considered 13%. Now it is a third in the Republican Party, but I am relieved that it's only at 13% that is of the broader population that's strongly approved. I mean, now that is like the core of just completely like. Not even joking, there could be Zyklon B style death camps, and those people would absolutely still support Trump, even if they saw the trains going right through their communities.
No, do what I'm just saying.
So that is like that is a fascist core, irredeemable. But
we call that the Natalie Harp 13.
Yeah, but to see how small that is compared to the rest of America, which feels one way about it. The only other thing that honestly like made me feel. Like, okay, we actually are a little bit better as a society than I thought. Slightly less fascist is when Charlie Kirk was killed, and they immediately tried to make a cult of martyrdom around him, and it was met with ridicule.
Also,
these are good signs, actually.
Isn't that woke to try to make a cult out of our boss man there?
Yeah, I was encouraged. If we could put this back up too, just to look at the independents, you have just 1% of Democrats strongly approve. I mean, that is margin of error stuff.
Fuck Taco Bell.
Fetterman.
Yeah,
Don't go there.
exactly.
John Fetterman. And his dad.
Yeah. Moskowitz and Gottheimer.
Definitely not while they're selling beef.
15% of registered voters strongly approving.
98% of registered sex offenders approve.
Exactly. 7% of independents strongly approve.
Probably.
12% somewhat disapprove.
Somewhat approve.
Somewhat approve. Strongly disapprove. For independents is 54%. So like he's not even just the disapproval isn't just the majority opinion of independents. Strong disapproval is the majority opinion of independents, which is by far the largest political constituency in the country.
I went there day before yesterday, and I'm suffering.
Country, with only 27% of Americans identifying as Democrats and 27%.
Well, it sounds like it's time to meet with Jared Kushner, Emma.
I guess so, because then you can make them to get the 27.
Just a basic burrito, probably. Chicken burrito. Nothing with lettuce or pico.
7% that are identified as Democrats and the 27% that identify as Republicans can come together to defeat the independents, right? That's bipartisanship.
None of it's spicy unless you make it spicy.
This is why, the economy is
just bad food, or someone
horrible for everyday people, no matter what the Dow says.
And that's not a hoax.
Also, and to be fair to the president, he reacted to these polls saying that these are fake polls and the real polls are actually tremendous.
Thank you for giving both sides of the argument.
Thank you for clearing that up, sir.
Yeah.
Glad we don't have to have a fact check below us.
Community guideline here. The actual polls are tremendous.
Good. We represent both sides here on the Majority Report, and you gotta wonder who the hell is in that Natalie Harp 13. What do they see in Donald Trump that still keeps them coming back? And we know that it's because he's so hot. Okay, putting that aside for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Then what is the number 2 reason that they keep?
Don't treat me like a wet. That's so hot.
Right. And by hot, I mean orange like the sun. Has anyone made a joke about Trump being orange before?
Not yet.
I'm the
Trailblazer.
Freaking Cheeto.
We are getting derailed here. All right, so here is what the Natalie Harp 13 are still seeing him.
So Donald Trump, he's been in office now a year and a half. What's Donald Trump's greatest accomplishment in his first year and a half?
Trump's done a lot of things. Number one, a lot that people don't realize, he got our country back, because we've been under the reign of Great Britain the last 125 years. They destroyed the evidence.
What? Wait,
actually, yeah.
We've been under the reign of Great Britain for the last 125
What the fuck did she just say? Excuse me? Yeah, lentils are good. There you go. You'd be the lentil burrito place.
Charles come here. He thought that he was going to manipulate Donald Trump. And Trump went along with him because that's who he is. But that's what the 250 years was really about.
Wait a second.
Was we got our...
Sorry.
It's
so
there.
we've been...
It's there. The truth's there for the people.
We've been under control for the last 125 years by Great Britain?
That's right.
Even though we've
I've been
got
down
the
15
strongest
rabbit
army in the
holes
world.
last night, and no one knew about it. Now I know everything about it. This is why the internet's dangerous.
And all that stuff?
It's true.
It's
the
true.
truth is
Where
that.
did you see this? Where did you see this?
You just gonna have to research just like I did. You're gonna have to. It's true.
So Donald Trump...
Okay, it's true.
You're just gonna have to go research on their, what is it called? Tinder? No, it's the other app.
Probably the least we've been under Great Britain is in the last 125 years.
Yeah.
Like you could argue, like even after independence,
A lot of Indians are vegetarian too.
Controlling the seas.
Yeah, I mean, what is the meme? Like, if someone was to look at the median voters' like viewpoints, they would be completely flummoxed. In terms of how they view politics. I mean, if you were to judge the average Natalie 13% Trump supporters' politics and just I want to put them into a word cloud to see what even would be the major theme of what they support about him. I guess take our country back, immigrants, perhaps, but damn.
I do want to clarify, according to Google, the United States has not been under control by Great Britain for the last 125 years.
We did declare independence and waged a war,
Yeah, I
but
think that was the
those
whole
could all
reason
be false
for
flags. Is there
independence.
any video evidence of the Revolutionary War? How do we know?
Exactly.
Right.
Will Chamberlain and the Revolutionary War. It never happened. Will Chamberlain, 100 points.
There's isn't it kind of suspicious that there's no photography or video of the Revolutionary War being waged?
Kind of is.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
See,
so.
this is why you need to cite sources, because I'm trying to learn here, and I searched America 250 reclaims America from Great Britain Trump, and I'll be honest, I'm on page 3 and I don't see anything. Let's see the Google AI here. Donald Trump
just have to restart.
This is from the AI.
Just
I mean,
restart.
Where though? What terms, lady? Just help me learn.
Well, you don't know the skeleton key phrase that unlocked our independence, and you know what it is?
Right.
Michelle Obama is a man. That's why it seemed really weird and racist that UFC fighter said that out of nowhere when the Obamas haven't been in office for like 10 years. But that's because it was the magical spell that finally broke Great Britain's hold on us. Don't you understand?
Okay, President Trump declared that this is from Follow Jesus on Facebook.
Nice.
President Trump declared that America is back as he opened the Great American State Fair. I'm just trying to learn and do my research here.
Thank you for doing your research on Facebook at the Follow Jesus account.
I mean, it's a verified account. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, it's verified.
Speaking to
Hello?
supporters, Trump said the United States is the hottest country anywhere in the world and is once again respected internationally. Oh, that's good news.
Yes.
And he added that America has reclaimed our sovereignty, regained our liberty, restored our prosperity, and is putting America first. Trump said the anniversary is time to celebrate the nation's past, but also look ahead. So nothing about the last 125 years. I'm really hoping to find more on that, but at least Trump is making America respected around the world again. So thank you for following Jesus on that.
Well, how could we have been respected when we still were a colony for all of that time? Now we're finally independent, and that is
that type of hot.
We have
he means
flown
hot.
the nest, and Trump
we're hot.
Just undid. He unlocked the cage.
I think it'd be news to Britons that they had been controlling us for
right.
They would probably make us have behaved differently during the Suez crisis. I'm just, it's
the hottest
not quite.
Ever.
I'm not quite sold on this lady's argument.
Okay, that's.
According to a different Facebook account.
Yes, I do.
This concept of the Great Britain ruling the United States is based. It's a sovereign citizen conspiracy theory.
Nice.
And the core of this narrative falsely claims that the United. Well, that's a little editorializing right there.
Yep.
But the United States is secretly a corporation controlled by the British Crown and the City of London, and it sources the.
Sorry, not to cut you off there.
Yeah.
Those are two different, and often historically opposed bodies in the City of London and the British Crown. But anyway, famously, like the British monarchy has to ask to go into the City of London. But anyway, I guess they're working on controlling America.
They told you.
It's all kayfabe.
Okay.
But they sourced the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871. As the origin of when this went down.
Oh, wow.
So I'll have to read about that.
Wait, what do you mean what went down? That did Britain reclaim us?
They started controlling us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hit the restart button.
They put us under them, and we've been under them for 125 years.
So coincidentally, shortly after the fall of slavery, that's when we all became enslaved?
Yes.
That's just a coincidence, Emma. That's not.
Stop, Emma.
There's nothing else going on.
There's nothing else going on.
Any type of panic or hysteria about anything.
So her contention is that shortly after slavery was abolished in the United States,
right,
the United States became enslaved by some outside force.
The Crown.
The Crown.
Okay.
A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration.
And that's what we call July 4th. Juneteenth is a total psychological psyop to distract you from that.
I have to change it to July 14th.
Exactly. June
14th.
June 14th
but it's
for Trump's.
4. It's not 14.
But Trump's birthday is June 14th, right? So that's our true independence.
That's the real Juneteenth.
You could actually use slavery.
14th.
That's good.
I didn't say it.
I did.
He did.
I also think
I'm a sovereign citizen.
I think part of why Trump might be losing people is he's kicking people out of his rallies for wearing "Kill Your Local Pedophile" t-shirts.
Rationalize it.
I did see that man get booed
I think it's
out.
happened a second time.
Oh my God!
And he's alienated the most psycho guys are mad at me. You gotta let them in with those shirts.
Right, like Sovereign Citizen does not have the same juice that Q did. They've lost the Q energy because they revealed themselves to be the pedophile protectors. It would be sad if it wasn't the best thing ever. Gotta give credit to Jason Selvig, of course, of The Good Liars for constantly getting us these phenomenal interviews. All right, folks, gonna read some IMs. We were gonna take calls today, but we were just having too much fun. We'll try tomorrow. Gonna read some IMs and we'll get out of here. Socialist accountant. Emma's prolonged exposure to PBS-only content made.
I want my silo fix. Sometimes it comes out early.
Hit as an individual, but Anna keeps hitting them all.
When the clock strikes midnight in Beijing, they drop it on Apple TV.
Let's take a look at Anna Kasparian chatting with Owen Schroyer of InfoWars, former lackey of Alex Jones.
I don't think I could play that mode.
Went independent as of less than a year ago, so not technically on the InfoWars channel anymore, but still as associated with InfoWars as anybody is outside of Alex Jones.
And he has some kind words to say for about Anna Kasparian. If we want to take a look at this one first, Gavin.
Yeah, let's take a look. I thought this was pretty hilarious.
move us over so you guys can get Anna's reaction to this.
You know, Anna, there's no denying that you've become, I think they call you a queen now, even on the dissident right. I've been seeing the queen emojis and the little crown. I don't know how you feel about that. But this is definitely a phenomenon. It's been a spectacle here, watching you kind of rise in popularity on the right. I do want to talk about that. You know, Anna.
Ooh. They call you a queen on the dissident right. Oh, so fucking cringe. And again, she doesn't even like deny it. She doesn't say, "Oh, I don't. I hope not." She's just smiling and giggling and like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, this is everything she dreamed of after she decided to leave the left, right? She just has a bunch of groypers who want to worship her and kiss her ass and tell her that she's, you know, pretty and brave and whatnot. And here she just gives them just a spoonful of red meat, just what they're looking for.
And by the way, before we play this clip, the dissident right, to the extent that it exists at all, it's just a bunch of grifters that helped Trump get elected and now realize there's more money to be made in criticizing Trump than continuing to support the guy that, again, they helped to get elected. I don't know if that's really dissident. To me, that's just a classic grifter right, but that's what he's talking about.
Great point.
But I want to go back. I want to go back 10 years ago. The famous moment at the RNC in Cleveland, the Young Turks InfoWars. You were there, Leanne McAdoo. Obviously, Alex and Shank were there as well. We all remember the moment, Roger Stone. I was outside doing street content, so I didn't actually get to be a part of that fun. But you were there. Mm-hmm. I make the joke about that's where we were at 10 years ago. Now, it feels like InfoWars people and Young Turks people have more in common now than they do with the Democrat Party or the Republican Party. But I want to go back.
Boom. And she just nods along. She's like, yeah, that's exactly true. We at the Young Turks have more in common with InfoWars than we do the Democratic Party, which is more progressive and launching more DSA adjacent wins than ever before. We are at the best time since Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential run for people to run as a progressive. I guess probably 2018 was when we had another real big batch of success. But still, in almost a decade, it's the best time to run as a progressive. And you mean to tell me that you have more in common with the InfoWars crowd, the fucking corporation that can't even call themselves InfoWars anymore because they were bankrupted and forced to sell to The Onion, a satire website.
Yeah, 100%. And, he mentioned that infamous incident from... I think it was the RNC or Politicon or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was the RNC.
Yeah, and let's just relive that real quick because there's multiple points in this interview where Anna was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about the way we handled this. You know, I'm so sorry. I feel like it could have been different. I feel like we didn't conduct ourselves in the proper fashion. All this crap." It was the same thing we saw from Jimmy Dore, who was also in this video, who famously spit on Alex Jones when he crashed the TYT set during the RNC. Then Alex Jones, when he was on InfoWars, he had to be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I did that. I regret spitting on you." Again, literally apologizing for one of the most badass things she's ever done. In the same way we saw Anna do that in this interview. But let's quickly relive that moment just because it was so wild. I remember when I first started consuming political media, when I actually was a big fan of the Young Turks. At the time, this was one of the craziest things that had happened in the online left when it came to this whole sphere. So let's relive it real quick, just a few moments.
Anyone in the media takes you seriously. All you do is lie. You're known as the biggest liar in media. You're the biggest liar in media. Give me a lie, loser.
Get off the stage, you fat.
Yeah, either way, that's a Chris real shot. I totally forgot he even was a channel at the time too. But Anna Kasparian's infamous "Get off the stage, you fat fuck." It was based, right? But at the time, all these right-wing channels were like, she's being fat phobic, like she's she can't actually debate Alex Jones, so she just has to call him fat or whatever. But I thought that was badass. Again, that was one of the things that made me love TYT back in the day, was their response to this and just how fucking pissed off Cenk was and Anna was and Jimmy Dore. He remember spit on Alex Jones. So either way, it was super disappointing to see Anna have to go on this Owen Schroyer guy's show and walk it back and apologize for it. I don't know if that was in the clip we just played. I forget, but I can find it if it wasn't.
Oh yeah, we can play that. I think the Post Left account cuts it off right after she nods along. But we also have this Mehdi Hassan weighing in. And this is a great reminder as well about who exactly it is she's cuddling up with. Schroyer accused Parkland survivors like David Hogg of being paid actors and was part of the InfoWars persecution of the Sandy Hook parents. Truly disgusting stuff. That is who Anna Kasparian has decided to be in cahoots with, right? Tucker Carlson wasn't enough. Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't enough. She is going after literal InfoWars guys who lied about the Parkland shooters. Okay, this is a guy who went after the Sandy Hook family. That's why he's independent now, I'd wager, is because they can't run InfoWars anymore. They officially had to shut it down so that Tim Heidecker and The Onion can run it. So he has to go on his own new startup show now, where Anna Kasparian is happy to be like, yeah, I'm one of you. Let me try and see if there's any overlap between our audience so we can enrich each other in this shared grift. Absolutely insane, the depths at which she's willing to go just for some money.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I don't want to keep searching for the right timestamp to find the quote I was talking about, but yeah, she basically apologized for the way that they conducted themselves when Alex Jones crashed the set. And yeah, it's pretty indicative to see, the energy in that clip and how they treated the InfoWars crew at the time, to now here we have Anna Kasparian chatting with Owen and they're complimenting each other and telling each other how awesome they are and all that kind of stuff. It really tells you everything you need to know.
Yup, absolutely. And that's not all. That's not all. We've got another little bit of a rant from Anna Kasparian. This is after she takes a shot at the DSA and talks about how destructive they are locally in Los Angeles. She can't resist getting back to her old constant refrain, the birthing person blues.
Yeah, this is like the 13,000th time we've had to hear about how Anna got kicked out of the left for the birthing person controversy.
With the right wing, I mean, conservatives specifically, I think that they're right in pointing out some of the excesses of the left when it comes to some of these social issues. And in fact, I got purged from the left simply for drawing attention to the fact that I don't think women should be called birthing people.
Okay.
I think it's degrading. Okay. So
you don't want to be referred to as a birth.
She got that's like saying Dave Rubin got purged from the left, or like Jimmy Dore got purged from the left. Like, no, you left the left. You made it very clear your grievances with the left and why you felt embarrassed by your own previous coverage as a leftist. Again, that was your words. No one said that about you. You said you were embarrassed by your own former content as a left-wing host. You didn't get purged from shit.
Yeah, it's great. And look at her smiling. Like, it's just shit-eating grin with one of the most disgusting people in media.
Yeah, and it's like, again, being criticized by the left is not the same thing as being purged by the left. We've been criticized by the online left. We've had takes that have like gone viral and people were like dunking on us and being like, this is fucking stupid and you're a fucking moron and get the fuck out of here. Like that's not, we're still on the left. We're still here.
So far no one's dunked on me.
Everyone who's an online commentator on the left is going to have
waiting for it.
Hot takes that people disagree with. Again, what you do with that backlash is what matters. Again, we're still here. It's not like we became right wingers. It's not like you see us on fucking Owen Schroyer because we've had a few takes that have gone viral and we got dunked on for them. No, we're still fucking here. We're on the left. That's our belief.
Kicked out of the left.
Anna, the reason why she's on Owen Schroyer's show is not because the left purged her. It's because she purged herself.
Very well put.
Birthing person?
No, I don't.
That's from the notes. I got to take this out of my show notes here.
And you know what the crazy thing, Zach, is as many times as you've heard Anna tell that story, the fact of the matter is that she never actually got called a birthing person. This controversy was over nothing. Oh, I got purged because I said I didn't want to be called a birthing person.
When did that
happen? No one
happen?
called you that. Like, it's not like there was some moment where like she was debating Sam Cedar.
There was no moment. Was it on Twitter? It must have been on Twitter.
And Sam Cedar like referred to her as a birthing person or something. Like, none of the people that she claims to have beef with have ever called her that. It doesn't exist. It never happened. Supposedly, it was on some medical form at some random clinic or something. Which, again, okay, maybe I'll take you at your word for that. Okay, so you saw a word out in nature that you didn't like. What are you talking about? I see words I don't like all the time. It doesn't make me fucking leave
Why is
the
that
left.
making
Again,
leave
no one
the
called
left?
her that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's pathetic. She was clear. Let's call it what it is. She was looking for a way out. She wanted to leave the left. She knew that there was money on the right. I am telling you guys, you can draw a perfect line to the rise of the 1789 fund and Peter Thiel going, hey, I'm going to start bankrolling a lot of right-wing media in the lead up to Donald Trump's 2024 presidential run. You have Tucker Carlson going independent. You have all of these things. You have the restructuring of her being like, I'm going to start talking about homeless people all the time. I'm going to start talking about how I might actually support Rick Caruso, the developer. That was jank. They both flirted with it for a long time. Then they got the poly market money, and then they got the chapter money, and now they don't support Medicare for All anymore as a channel. And Jank had to be moved off the Medicare for All team with his charity, fundraising call with Mark Ruffalo. And imagine forcing yourself to get kicked off the team with Mark Ruffalo because you can't be on the Medicare for All team because you have a chapter sponsorship. And you don't want to get an angry call from Vivek Ramaswamy talking about how, hey, buddy, you're a Medicare man now. You love the profit motive in health insurance because that's what keeps the lights on at your worthless fucking studio.
That sounds very revolutionary to me. But either way, yeah, it's completely humiliating. Again, just a new low for Anna.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. Be there.
I got a pee, chat. Be right back.
Care that like 90% of sports are black or whatever the fucking statistic is. I don't give a shit if Jews have all the money. I really don't care. I don't care if they run Hollywood. Like, my issue is like culpability with the people that are pushing these fucking bullshit narratives. The media is mostly Jewish, and the media is pushing this fucking DEI. Yeah, they're pushing this trans bullshit. They're pushing they push the COVID fucking shit, right? So all I'm saying is I want you to be responsible for what you're in charge of. I don't care if it's the purple people in charge of the banks. I don't care if it's the fucking green people in charge of the fucking media. No, but dude, hear me out. I don't care who the fuck it is. I'm saying if the media is the green people and they're pushing COVID and they're pushing DEI, they're pushing transgenderism and they're pushing racism and they're pushing division and they're pushing a degradation of fucking moral fiber, I'm mad at the green people, right?
Let's just dive straight into the show, and I will share my thoughts throughout the video.
You're making about Israel a recent thing, or have you always had these beliefs?
It's more recent. I didn't really realize what a problem it was until recently, and then everybody was scared to say something about it. My brother told me, like, you can't say anything about it. They'll fucking kill you. Like, everybody basically said that I couldn't say anything about it. And actually now they're like literally like trying to like kick me off the board of my company because of those tweets. So, like, shit. Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of like negative pushback, a lot of my Jewish friends. But I don't give a fuck, It's like one of those things where I know that it's the right thing, and the fact that everybody else is scared to say it makes me, feel obligated to be vocal about it.
Why do you think it's the right thing?
Because I know that they're a fucking parasite. Like, they provide the U.S. absolutely no value. They've done so many thand that, would constitute, an act of war against us. I mean, USS Liberty, Lebanon Affair, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. But, I think they knew about 9/11. I think they had JFK assassinated. The first thing that he wanted to do, right before he died was, make AIPAC a foreign entity, and not allow them to have nukes. And then all of a sudden this fucking guy's dead. And Jack Ruby, who was Jack Rubenstein, I mean, it's just like, and then you just, I don't know, man. I can't ignore all the shit that they've done. They sold their secrets. Netanyahu lied to us about weapons of mass destruction. We fought all these fucking wars. My friends have died over there. Like, you know, and I just look at what they provided us with, and it's fucking, it's not nothing. It's like a negative, you know. It's not, even if they just didn't do jack shit, that would be, you know, bad, but they've actually done things to hurt us over and over and over again. So like this whole thing of they're our greatest ally is just complete fucking bullshit. And, you know, we send them $100 billion, then they send AIPAC $100 million, and then they distribute it to our politicians, and every politician is a little fucking AIPAC handler walking around and telling them what to fucking say and how to vote. And it's just like, look, I'll donate like $100,000 to politicians, you know, and they call me up like, hey, you need anything? Like every week. I don't need shit. I fucking sit on my ass. I don't do anything. I don't care. I don't fucking break any laws. I don't need any favors. Like I just gave it to them because I didn't want to see any more fucking retard, you know, Democrats in there. So, you know, but that's 100,000. Like, what does 100 million buy you? How many fucking phone calls do those guys get? You know? And so, like, I just know how it works. And the system is broken. Like, these people get into office and they don't have very much money, and they get out of office with fucking tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not a fucking accident, right?
Is that an Israel thing, or is that anybody? Because China's doing the same thing.
China doesn't have they don't have an AIPAC. Like, Israel is the only one that has a fucking, like, a lobby in the U.S. fucking, you know, giving these politicians money.
Okay, no, every country, the big ones all have lobbyists. They all have lobbying that they're doing.
Not in the U.S. No. They're registered as foreign entities.
He's right about that.
Right. I mean, if you're talking about, are you going to the dual citizenship part with Israel, you know, Israel?
That's another problem is a lot of our politicians have far more allegiance to Israel than they do the United States. I mean, that's a whole nother issue as well.
Do you know why they did the dual citizenship? Do you know the history behind why they did the dual citizenship?
What do you mean?
Like, so the whole concept of dual citizenship was because when Israel became a, you know, country again, they didn't want the people from here who wanted to go back to Israel that didn't have a motivation to go if they were going to lose their citizenship here. So that was the reason why they did it. It was kind of like, okay, you're your own country. We kind of need some of you guys to move over there to help the country out. Yeah, but I'm not going to go. Why are you not going to go? Am I going to lose my citizenship here? But you are. I mean, we don't do that. Every other country, you got to, I don't want to lose my citizenship. Well, okay, how about if we do this? How about if we allow you, just Israel, to go back to your country, you won't lose your citizenship? That was the arrangement at the beginning why they did it that way.
No, look, I get it. I have 3 citizenships. You know what I mean? I think it's okay. I think
what's the third one? I know Armenia, but what's the
St. Kitts.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't have an issue with dual citizenship. My issue is when somebody is holding a U.S. office and they are putting a foreign nation's interest before America's interest, and they are favoring that other country. And so that, to me, is treason. Like, when you are a U.S. government official, your motivation should be to do things in the best interest of the government that you are representing, not 100%. Some other fucking foreign country. And that's the problem. Do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense? Well, when 1,200 people died, and of which the 1,200 you've killed and admitted that you've killed a lot during, you know, your handle.
I will tell you this. If Israel's the enemy, then if let's just say you don't do anything and everybody in the Middle East unites to take out Israel, do you think the Middle East is better without Israel? And do you think the world's a safer place without Israel?
100%. It's not even close.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you think?
Give me an argument otherwise. Please. But give me one argument why the world would be better off with Israel. Let's just start with that. One thing. Give me one thing.
Have you ever lived in the Middle East?
No.
I lived there for 10.5 years. It's a very, it's not as like here. You can sit here, you can be an atheist, you can be an agnostic, I can be a Christian, he can be a Jew, he can be an LDS, Muslim, no problem. We can coexist here. You can do that in Israel. You can do that.
I mean, not really. They're operating apartheid right now. So everybody's not living equally.
Not at the level of Iran. Not at the level of what Iran is doing. Actually. I mean, in Iran, if you're thinking what Israel is doing out of control, do you know how much money Khamenei's families made? Do you know how much money they've taken? They have 200.
I've never been to Iran, but I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi. Like I've been to UAE. So like, and they're all Muslim. They seem to be operating fine.
I would say Iran's slightly different than. But go back to it. So okay, so you think the Middle East and the world would be a better place if Israel didn't exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Israel's committed, so many terrorist attacks.
I'm a numbers guy.
They're stealing land right now. They're operating in apartheid. They're currently committing a genocide on Palestinians. Like, Do you believe in the genocide they're committing?
I think they're fighting for themselves and they're defending themselves.
Do you think that's defense?
Well,
when 1,200 people died, and of which the 1,200 you've killed and admitted that you've killed a lot during, your Hannibal.
I will tell you this. The part I question where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this, I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they're attacking.
They knew about it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. Yeah, they wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
And they killed their own citizens. And they claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a fucking complete. Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the Palestinians and been caught doing it. In fact, they just got caught gang raping Palestinians. How many babies have they killed? All the things that they accuse the Palestinians of or Hamas of or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves.
So you...
And they've been doing that. Like, October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like, the start of this was Nakba. They've done so many different...
I don't disagree.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is not like... It's not like October 7th is like... Just all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just killed people. Like, they have been killing Palestinians for years and years, operating two sets of justice. It's like...
My problem with him is he says Jews instead of Israelis.
And if you read the Talmud, like, if you're not Jewish, you're basically not a human. You're like, like cattle.
He's starting to get
if a Jew
anti-Semitic
is,
stuff.
Is killed by somebody that's not Jewish, then it's the death penalty. If a Jew kills somebody that's not a Jew, then you can't kill them. It's not the death penalty. They literally segregate in their Bibles.
They're very protective of themselves. I don't think anybody can debate
you guys are the best.
I don't think it's a.
Well, it's not the problem. Isn't that they're protective of themselves? The problem comes when you think that you're better than other people, and you think it's okay to lie to anybody that's not a Jew. You think it's okay to steal from people that are not a Jew. You have two sets of standards. The problem with that is it allows you to rationalize anything, right? And human beings are generally self-serving creatures. So if your fundamental religious belief system allows you to operate in such a way that you believe there isn't consequences to stealing from other people, killing other people, raping, kids that are under 9 years old, like if you think those things are okay, then, how are you going to operate? Because to me, like, my moral code keeps me on track.
This is where the interview gets seriously intense. Patrick challenges Dan directly, asking whether the Middle East would actually be safer without Israel. Dan doesn't back down. Instead, the two clash over security, morality, and responsibility, with neither side willing to give an inch.
You ever seen MIT stats showing that Ashkenazi Jews' IQ is the highest IQ in the world? You ever heard about that or not?
I believe it. It's up there.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I've seen the IQ studies. Yeah.
What do you think about that? The fact that they have a higher IQ. How do you process that information?
What do you mean?
You have a pretty high IQ, right? I mean, I don't know what the score is. I've seen some. What's this? I've read it multiple different places. What's the score you've got?
I don't know. I mean, I was in the 99th percentile when I was in 8th grade and got accepted to Duke on a scholarship. I mean, I've tested okay. I'm a smart guy.
Okay, but do you think the part about like, okay, I'm a Syrian and I'm Armenian, and then I'm born in Iran and I'm living in America. Armenians, try bring them together. It's tough. They're divided. Assyrian.
I don't know about that. Go to Glendale, buddy.
No, I lived in Glendale for 6 years.
What do you mean? They're pretty. Every Armenian that I ever meet is like, bro, you're Armenian. It's like, I have seen.
The pride is right.
Yeah, I've seen more Armenian pride than any other.
Yeah, but you're talking, these guys are coming to you. You have different types of Armenians, right? And even right now in Armenia with what they're going through with, Pashinyan and some of the political stuff. You were there in 2018 with your brother and your dad when you guys went there and got your citizenship. But Assyrians, they're divided. It's the older, the church, the club, the this, the that. You can't unite these guys together, right? The closest thing I'll say with Jews, the level of unity that they have is Muslims and Mormons. Mormons are super united. Muslims are super united, and Jews are super united. That's one part that they have the edge. But then if you look at their IQ, and if somebody's IQ is higher, they're generally going to make better decisions in business, if that is correct, right? If IQ is correct.
So you think that 6 out of the 10 richest people in America are Jewish? You think it's just IQ related?
You think they started off with money when they started creating their wealth?
I think if you look at college admissions and you look at how many Jews get admitted versus how many whites, they lump themselves in, you know, in a separate category. And 75% of college, you know.
Okay, sure.
What is
right. What? Hello? Oh, they're bots. Room full of bots. You wait there. Nice. Real nice.